Achilles could have spent his entire life enjoying himself with his family, loved by the people he knows, enjoying his existence, and nobody would have known his name. But as far as his existence, his 60 years of life, I forget how old he was when he died, or he could skip all that and have a life of strife and be remembered. But as far as his Achilles is concerned, all he experienced was the strife. Perhaps who gives a f remember? Sorry for saying that again. Remembers you 200 years from now if your existence on this planet sucked? Why not consider choosing enjoying your life with those you love? Because I mean, just because you and I know who Achilles is does not affect him at all now. You know why? He's worm food.
And he old as hell. He's done being worm food.
Exactly.
So I looked up the definition of legacy just for clarification. There was two. One is a noun, an amount of money or property left to someone in a will.
Hmm.
Or two, the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc., that took place in the past or in a person's life. So to me, legacy is important because it's kind of like what you did while you were here on this earth, and not just building something, but it's also the people that you impacted. And to me, it's not just about children. It's also like every person that you meet, every person that you touch. Did you help them in some way? Did you change their life? Like, what would they say at your funeral? And I think about people like Sam Walton. Like, he built this humongous legacy, and the dream he had after death is still providing for families all across the world. You know what I mean? And even though his children didn't fulfill his legacy, they didn't really care. They just took the money and wanted to spend it. And now there are CEOs running it, and the company's not the same anymore because it's not family. Like, everyone knew Sam Walton, everyone cared, and he cared about his people. So it's a little bit different how his children handle it now. And you can tell that the value, the family values went down when he died. So they didn't treat his legacy the way he built it, but also what he poured into what he did in this life is living on and still helping others. So I think about it in that aspect. As far as children are concerned, I do think it's good to pour into the children what you know, and in a way it lives on. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the movie Troy. There was a part where Achilles, he went to the soothsayer, and she was like, "If you go to Troy, then your name will be remembered throughout time." Or you could stay here and your family remember you, your kids, your grandchildren, but that's it. No one will remember you anymore. So I think there could be two different types of legacies. You could live on for the ages. There are people who are down in the history books, and there are people who their family will remember them until no one else is left in their family. So
Yeah.
it's
But
all
you
about
guys
how
see
you
what
want to
JR,
impact.
you guys see
Mm-hmm.
what JR is doing too. JR is making his own legacy as well. I like, I want to say like a year ago, like the network was a lot smaller, a lot less people and everything. I see JR making his own legacy, making his own name on the on the worldwide stage as well. So it's getting there, and I think that's another way of making legacy as well, making giving opportunities to other people. Like
I agree.
JR gives opportunities to the people that he chooses in order to grow and get bigger and shine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge thing for JR to do too. That's your legacy, JR, definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know we've been talking about it because I've been having these conversations the past few months about legacy, and I've always associated with children. But I think Kelly made a good point too. It just got me thinking about the other aspect of legacy, and it's like who are you going to be when you leave this world? Like, did you make a name for yourself? Did you make a name for the family? What do people remember you for? So I think it's important, and appreciate that, Amir. For actually recognizing that, just putting in the work. But
Absolutely.
um,
I do.
I think
I see
I
you
think
working so hard.
thank you. Yeah, I think we all should be striving to kind of make the world a better place in our own way. So
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
anybody go ahead, Trigger Mike? I'm sorry.
no, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask if anybody had final thoughts because that was my last question. If anybody else wanted to.
No,
chime in.
excellent show. Great topics. I mean, there's a lot to be said on this legacy topic. I personally believe as a country right now, we're going to go through a dramatic shift. You know, every day it seems like you're getting new information that just kind of lets you know that the future is not going to look like the present. And I just want to know how that's all going to fall down. I mean, to me, it really starts off with the simple things like, oh, you know, Social Security not going to be here when you get old, and then you want to ask why not, and then
Mm.
we see that the average American can't afford a house. The middle class is about to be eradicated. So, you know, we're in for some hard times. We're in for a hard next 20 years for this giant that is America. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the country itself and the people within it can sustain and go back to the values that made us great. But we know that's not how really those things really happen.
Yeah. I hope we don't lose the value.
Go ahead, Amir.
Oh, go ahead. No, it's okay. I'm done. I was just gonna. I'll wait until you're done.
I'll give a final thought on legacy, and Kelly brought it up. Achilles could have spent his entire life enjoying himself with his family, loved by the people he knows, enjoying his existence, and nobody would have known his name. But as far as his existence, his 60 years of life, I forget how old he was when he died, or he could skip all that and have a life of strife and be remembered. But as far as his Achilles is concerned, all he experienced was the strife. Perhaps who gives a fuck if sorry for saying that again, remembers you 200 years from now if your existence on this planet sucked? Why not consider choosing enjoying your life with those you love? Because I mean, just because you and I know who Achilles is does not affect him at all now. You know why? He's worm food.
And he old as hell. He's done being worm food.
Exactly. So why does he care if you and I know his name? What joy does that bring him? Think about it. It's worthwhile to be known, but you only live for so long. That's my thoughts on legacy.
Well, typically, when you see someone who wants their name to go on into the future, it's not because they want it for themselves. It's because they want it for their future generations, that they will be known as the descendants of so and so. And it's like, that's why I think a lot of us think this way, like, well, what is it going to do me? What good is it going to do me? I'm going to be dead. But it's not about you. It's about those that come after you. And a lot of people in our ancestry, look, I'm not saying everybody in our ancestry, but we have many people in our ancestry that made nothing of themselves, that just lived and died, and no one will ever know their name, and they won't speak their name again, because why? And then you have people in our ancestry, I'm sure all of us have someone who has done something great in our lineage, and then we look at them and we're so proud to be descendants of them, and to know that that runs in our veins, to know that the blood of so and so runs in our veins, that we can feel stronger in ourselves for this reason. So legacy, Kelly, huh? Go ahead.
Amira, do you know anyone who's related to Achilles? I'm just curious.
No, I don't. But I'm sure he has descendants. I'm sure he has descendants.
I haven't heard
so
a thing
the
from you.
people who, you don't need to. They know them. They know themselves. It's not about you. It's not just about you, Raul. So anyway, back to legacy. I wanted to say, guys, the legacy, I do believe that legacy is important. And if we're not here to do something and to be known for something good that we've done, then why even exist, right? We should be known for something, whether it be in our community, whether it be worldwide, whether it be just even in your career, what have you. Be known for something, that you did something good. I think it's a good thing.